Hey, Pumpkin. Do you know?
Hey, do you know Sandy and Ange?
Yeah, I think I do.
Well, apparently one of their commenters has said that the one on the right, which would be Sandy,
Mm-hmm.
talks too much and doesn't let the one on the left, which would be Ange, not talk. She just doesn't talk enough.
Well, isn't that a darn shame?
Yeah. Well, tonight, because I love Sandy and, well, we love Ange,
Mm-hmm.
and to help them out, we're going to let Cowboy talk all night. Except, I'll put the odd thing in because I'm just here for support and to get scared. Let it go, Cowboy.
Well, now I heard that you're not a believer, Pumpkin.
Well, that's kind of true.
And
A
you know-
believer in what? Do they know what we're talking about tonight?
Well, we're talking about pumpkins. No, I'm just kidding. I'm going to be sharing my real paranormal stories from throughout my life. These are not made up. These are freaking me out. I'm too scared to talk. Anyway, so I know a few of you have been looking forward to this, and I keep banging the table. I can't do this with Pumpkin going, oh.
Okay, Pumpkin, shut up.
No, I don't want
I
you to
guess
shut
the
up.
commenters are right. I
No,
just need to shut
and
up.
you know, you guys, we did explain that. Why I'm not the yapper, but I'm the one with the scary haunted life. So here we go. All right, first story. I would call that my childhood friend. Now, you know, a lot of young kids, 3, 4, 5 years old, have imaginary playmates. And they say it's pretty normal. And I guess it is. But I think in some cases there's a little more to it than what you think. And when I was about 4 or 5, I used to sit at the bottom of a 3-story house, the stairs leading up to the attic, and there were 2 bedrooms upstairs. And I'd sit at the bottom, and I really liked the painting that was at the bottom of the stairs. And it was a painting of a collie dog. It was a really old painting of a collie dog looking out over a bunch of sheep in the pasture. And he was up on like a hill. And I was sitting there one day, and I remember this plainly, even to this day. I heard someone say, a man say, that's my favorite painting, that's actually mine. And I could hear the voice from up the stairs. So I looked up the stairs, and I could see this man sitting on the top stair, looking down at me, smiling, a very kind face on him. And we would talk. I mean, this went on for months before my Aunt Ruby, who I lived with at the time, said to me one day, Angie, who are you talking to? And I said, oh, the man upstairs. And she said, there's no man upstairs. I said, well, I talk to him every day. And to me, he was as real as Pumpkin is right now. You're killing me, man. Anyway, so she said, well, okay. And she kind of dismissed it and whatever. And then another day, another one of my aunts was over. Her name was Margaret. And she came around, she said, who are you talking to? And I said, the man upstairs. And she says, well, there is no man upstairs. What are you talking about? Is this an imagination? Playmate? Like, and I said, no, he looks real like you do to me. And she said, is he there now? And I said, yeah. So she looked up the stairs and she said, oh, I don't see him. And I said, well, maybe he only shows himself to me. Not fully understanding what that meant at the time. Anyhow, they asked me if I could describe the man that I was talking to. And I said, he's just an older man and a kind face. I couldn't really put anything more to it. And they said, well, does he have a name? And this is the first time they had asked me this in a long time. Like, they never asked me his name, and I never offered it. I said his name's Victor. And both of my aunts turned just pale white. Or should I say ghost white? Ooh.
And I always thought the man upstairs was God, but that's just, go ahead.
That's just Pumpkin.
That's just, yeah, go ahead.
So anyway.
Pumpkin's getting hot.
Hot pumpkin. Anyway, so they said Victor, and I said yes. And they said, wait a minute. And they took out all these pictures, these old pictures. And they said, do you see him in this pile of pictures? And I looked at, like, they put 3 or 4 out, and I said, no, don't see him. And they went through some more pictures, and they dropped a picture. And I saw it on the floor, and I'm like, that's him right there. And they said, oh my God. Like, they both went, oh my God, that's Victor. Apparently Victor's my great 3 greats grandfather. And he died long before I was ever born. And they never talked about him around me. And I told them that the painting at the bottom of the stairs was his painting, his favorite painting. And that confirmed it to them that I really was communicating with Victor. So that's story number 1. Well, these get kind of, whew. Okay. So, my next story involves my stepfather. And I call this the pianist that pooped. I know it sounds funny and not scary, but that's who I am. I'm a bit of a dork. Anyway. I think I was about 8 or 9. And like I said, my stepfather, he was a pianist. He taught piano and he did concerts and stuff like that. Nothing huge, but anyways, very good at the piano. I didn't care for him much. He was an alcoholic. But anyway, he forced me to learn piano because that's what he did. So every morning before school, he would usually make me practice piano for half an hour before I could even eat breakfast. Well, this one morning, my mom had breakfast ready. So I was sitting with my back to the piano and I was eating, and my mom went upstairs to talk to my aunts. My stepfather hadn't asked me to use the piano yet because he was in the bathroom. Guess he had the squirts or something, you know.
Coffee.
Anyhow, I'm sitting there finishing my breakfast. I'm the only one in the living room in the kitchen area. And I hear the piano playing. So I had just assumed that my stepfather had started practicing because he'd always warm up himself before he went to work to teach. And it was a tune I had never heard him play before. So I got up right away, kind of curious, because I wanted to go look at his sheet music and see what it was. Well, I got up and walked over to the piano. There was nobody sitting there. No word of a lie. And I just kind of thought, like, being younger and whatever, I just thought, well, I guess it's a player piano. So I got excited. Like, hey, I didn't know this was a player piano, you know, those automatic playing pianos. And so I was standing there kind of like, wow, you know, not scared or anything. Well, my stepfather yells, how'd you learn to play like that, Angie? And I'm like, I'm not playing, I'm watching the player piano. And he yells down the hall, what? So he comes running out, sees the piano playing, turns white as a ghost, looks at me, and he says, this isn't a player piano. And he literally ran. He didn't have his pants done up, so he ran down the hallway and up the stairs going out of the basement, and he actually fell and broke his nose. He was so scared. But yeah, it happened quite a few times. You know, it was harmless, but once I knew it was a ghost or whatever it was kind of spooky, and I had trouble sleeping after that. So I don't know if that's super scary to you guys? I mean, it
If
happened
it
during the
scared me,
day.
I'd move. Every time that we watch a scary show or paranormal, I'm like, move.
And
move.
I watch tons of paranormal stuff.
And I do too now because I like to watch what she watches, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm really not a believer.
And there's so many stories. I mean, so many things that happened throughout my life, and I can only share a few of them because I don't want Pumpkin to melt here.
Yeah,
And
pumpkin hot.
you know, I can do maybe another excerpt later, or I can't talk tonight. Just cotton mouth. Sorry.
Ooh. Ooh.
Oh, Pumpkin. Anyway, moving on. And I've got notes because, you know, fibro fog. Hey, Pumpkin. I get your nose. Okay. So, what was that? Oh, okay. Maybe I'll do 4. Because we're at, what, 11 minutes?
I want the show, dude.
I'm trying here. Don't be a smart-ass pumpkin. Or I'll make pumpkin pie out of you later.
Uh-huh.
Okay. When my eldest son was about 5 or 6, we lived in Nova Scotia. Not that matters, but we were in a house. It was a really nice house. And we were so...
House is a very, very fine house. Sorry.
It wasn't well, it was a fine house, but
Yeah.
what happened in it was not fine. So, my son's favorite toy was Barney the dinosaur. You know, the purple guy. I love you, you love me. We're a happy family with a great big hug and a kiss from me to you. Won't you say you love me too?
So how many people did we just make mad?
There's probably nobody watching now. I really don't care. Oh, I care. Anyhow, this one year that we had moved in, and it was a nice house again, and we were renting it, and I couldn't believe how cheap it was to rent. It was out kind of in the country, beautiful place. There was a forest behind us with a creek running through it, you know. And we had a nice big deck out back on the second floor. It was really pretty there. Anyway, my son started waking up in the middle of the night. I assumed he was sleepwalking because he did it quite often, and he would be out in the kitchen, and he would put all the chairs one in front of the other beside the table in the kitchen in his sleep. And he'd sit in the front and go, woo, woo, because he like trains. So I would guide him back, you know, because you're not supposed to wake them up. Tuck him into bed. It was fine. So I was used to this. So this one night, I hear this racket in the kitchen. And I'm like, oh boy, he's up to it again. But normally he wasn't really loud like that. So I go out into the kitchen, and the chairs aren't one after the other. There was one that was fallen over, another one was almost crookedly stacked on the other, and then the other one was kind of behind those. And my son was nowhere in sight. So I was really worried that maybe he got outside somehow or whatever. Went into his room. He was sleeping. And I didn't know he was sleeping because, you know, I went, Keegan, and he didn't answer, so I knew he was sleeping. And I'm like, Keegan, and I woke him up. And he said, what was that noise in the kitchen? So I just told him, I said, oh, it was Mom. Don't worry about it. Didn't want to scare him. I assumed it was him, but I don't think so. Moving on. I'm tucking him into bed, and the Barney that he slept with started going off. Okay? Like really. So I figured, you know, batteries are dying, whatever. Took the batteries out, gave Barney back to him, and to sleep he went. The next night, he comes in screaming, Mom, 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 Barney's mean, Barney's mean. And I'm like, what's going on? And Barney was going off in his bed. Weird. Like, it was just really weird. It sounded demonic. It really did. It was creepy. And I thought, well, you know, the dying batteries, he must have put them back in. And I said to Keegan, I said, why'd you put the batteries back in? Buddy, they're dead. They're not going to work right, and it's going to scare you. And he's like, I didn't put batteries in. I said, it's okay if you did. He goes, no, I didn't put batteries in. So I checked. There were no batteries in that thing.
Ooh.
Yeah, so...
Move. Okay.
Scaredy cat's me. Okay. So, I freaked out and threw it in the closet under a bunch of other toys and kind of muffled it and left it there. The next night again, Keegan wakes me up.
I'd bury it.
Something's going off in my closet. I'm scared, Mom. I'm scared. Go in there. Sure enough, Barney doll's going off, and I thought, again, he must have been playing with the toys and put batteries in it during the day. Looked at it, no batteries. Now, Barney was being very loud with no batteries, and I just about pooped my pants. I was freaking out.
Maybe it was a Sandy doll. Loud and no batteries.
Stop.
Loud
Pumpkin.
and no batteries. Okay, I'll behave. Move. Okay.
We did end up moving, but before that, what happened that night was I took Barney, put him in the trunk of my car, locked the trunk, and went back inside. You know, that's great. So we had someone living with us at the time, like a boarder or whatever, and he came home, and I was up watching TV, making sure that Keegan slept okay. He comes in and he goes, what is going off in your trunk? And I said, what do you mean? He said, I don't know, there's just a weird voice coming from your trunk. I thought you were pulling a prank on me. I said, well, no. I said, there was a Barney doll going off, and I said, but it didn't have batteries. And so we went out to the trunk of the car. Sure enough, it's going off. He rips the wires like away from everything. It was still going off. So I said to him, I said, could you do me a favor and go bury it in the forest behind the house? That's what he did. And I'm sure to this day, Barney is buried out in the forest. True story. Ooh.
I'm glad I didn't know you when all this heebie-jeebie shit was going on.
Well.
Ooh.
I mean, that isn't even the tip of the iceberg.
I used to be scared of my own shadow until I met her, and now I'm like...
Scared of everything?
No, I'm getting more used to the shows she watches and stuff, and some of it I get.
I mean, if you're not a believer, that's fine. I'm just sharing my experiences. Okay, I just freaked out. I don't know if you can tell. I'm really red in the face. But the light over there went on. Nobody's there. But it's a touch light. The cat is there. Anyway.
Hey. Yeah.
1 second.
No, it's okay.
Okay. All right. What is the next one?
I don't know.
You're hot?
Go ahead.
Okay.
You can tell about what turned me into a believer. True story.
What was it again?
Remember the guy that went and cupboards were opening?
So,
even when all that was going on, I wasn't believing until.
Yeah, so I watch a lot of different ghost shows on YouTube and stuff. And what's his name now? I can't even think of it. Chris. Chris's Crazy Crossroads. If you guys ever get the chance, check him out on YouTube. The guy is genuinely scared, and I think that's why so much happens to him, because of the energy he gives off when he's in these haunted places. And we watched this video one time. He's got a lot with really good evidence that I don't see how it can be debunked, but whatever. Showed it to Sandy. And it was crazy. He was in this old house, not old house, but abandoned house, like from the 80s or something, 70s. And he opened the cupboard to see what was around or whatever, because he heard cupboard doors opening when he was in the other room. And he took he opened it, and what was on the glass?
A Shrek glass.
It was a Shrek
like
glass.
One of those McDonald's Shrek glasses.
Mm-hmm. And he goes, oh, they got a Shrek glass. And then he shut the cupboard again, right?
And checked out another room.
Checked out another room. And what was it he did?
He came back and it was in the sink.
Oh, yeah, he came back around. And I mean, no one was there. And I know you guys are going to say, oh, well, someone could have put it there. Yeah, they could have.
That's what I thought.
They could have.
That's what I thought. I was almost laughing because I'm like, this couldn't happen.
Yeah. So, yeah, it was on the thing, and he put it back in the cupboard. He goes in the other room again, and he hears something.
Water.
He hears the water.
First.
The taps.
Fill in the Shrek glass.
Yeah, fill in the Shrek glass in the sink.
Mm-hmm.
And he put it back. So then, he empties it, puts it back, says, please leave me alone, please leave me alone. I want to do some more exploring. He hears a noise and he hears a roll, and the glass rolled like across the floor without breaking, like from the cupboard. So I don't know how that happened either.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Part.
Next. Do you remember?
Oh.
Okay, you tell them what happened next then.
Okay, he hears the noise. So he's like, he goes out again. Sure enough, it's that damn Shrek glass. Only this actually turned me into a believer. As I say, before that I was laughing, but it was now on the counter, and it was like this tilted, right? Instead, there's the glass, but it was like this, and it was spinning, like really, really spinning, really, really
like
fast.
not flat spinning, but it was like, you know how a coin will spin like that. It was fast, and it was picking up speed.
And it spun for a really long time. Like, even if a person
spun it,
would have walked over to it and went like that and twisted it, there's no way that it would have spun this long. And that was when I started to believe. And when Bill came home from work that night, we're like, we got to show you something, because he is even a more non-believer than I am about this stuff. And he just sat there with his mouth open, and he's like, wow. And we're like, you can't say that, like, it had to be a spirit or whatever. And he said, yeah, I think so too. Like, it's something to see if you ever get a chance. Like, it just spun and spun and spun. And needless to say, Chris said, I'm out of here.
Yeah, he left.
Yeah. It was,
I don't know how they could have faked that. I really don't.
You couldn't.
Because it started slow, and it picked up speed on its own with no one there.
The more scared he got, the faster it went.
So anyway, Chris's Crazy Crossroads is honestly worth checking out on YouTube. There's more shows that we watch, but anyway, that really stood out to us, and that did make her a believer.
Before that, I thought, oh, this is just nonsense. Although when my mom passed away, it was very sudden. And she always teased us when we were younger and said, I'm coming back to haunt you all. And then we'd laugh and whatever. Well, before that, whenever we were sitting with our feet up, she would always, here's our foot, and she would always come and run her finger up our foot as she was going by us to go to the kitchen or the bathroom or whatever. That was a thing. And it wasn't long after that, I was laying in bed, and sure enough, the finger went right up my foot, and I just sat bolt right up, and I'm like, Mom? And unfortunately, that was the only time ever. I wish she would haunt me now. I really do. But anyway, yeah. So I kind of believed them, because that's something she'd do, but I never give it any thought. And then when I met Ange and she started watching all these shows, I'm like, sure, I'll watch with her. And there's a couple I really like, and a couple I think, no way. But this dude in his Shrek glass, man, it was creepy.
Yeah.
Creepy,
really
creepy.
Okay. Let's see, what are we at? 25 minutes? Can I do one more?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay.
Poor pumpkin. But
Poor pumpkin.
go ahead.
I'll make it up to you. Okay. So, my youngest, or my eldest son was about 18. And then I had my 2 other kids. And the youngest one was maybe 9, 10. And we moved into this house that a friend of mine had been renting. She wanted to move somewhere else, so we ended up moving in. And it was an older house, but it was a nice size house. And from the kitchen, there were stairs going upstairs to a loft, which was a huge bedroom, or my son actually was up there, and he had it like a living room and a bedroom. And I want to say first that we always wondered when we went out to the backyard and we looked at the roof. There was part of the roof that had, what do you call it?
Shingles?
No, a sunroof, or
yeah.
Sunroof.
Solar panel roof?
No.
A sunroof.
No, not a roof, like a window or whatever, but it was in the roof. It wasn't an actual window. Skylight. I got it. Yeah, this is real scary. Everybody's laughing, but hey, why not? Anyhow, it didn't make sense because there was no skylight inside the house. So anyway, we noticed that our dogs, we had 2 big dogs, and they'd play at night. Like, they were playing, but they weren't playing with each other. And it was really weird. And I said to my daughter, I said, what's wrong with the dogs? I wonder. And she goes, oh, they're playing with the little girl. She likes to play with the dogs. I said, what little girl? And she described how she looked and such. And I'm like, okay, that's really weird. So I eventually had a dream where this little girl came up to me, and she was wearing this dress, and it was yellow and had flowers or something on it. And it was just really weird. And she said, I like it here and I like your dogs. And now this was a dream or a nightmare or whatever you want to call it. So I asked my daughter, I said, what does the little girl look like? She described her exactly the way I saw her in this dream. So I'm like, okay, weird. Then our TV started going to channel, and I'm not, no word of a lie, channel 666.
Oh, move.
Yeah.
Move.
And it would happen several times during the day and at night. I called the cable company, told them what was happening. They told me different things to do, tried it, still happened. They came in, they tried to change it out. It was still happening. They couldn't explain it. They didn't know what was going on. It was always 666. And it was just static. So anyway, a little bit of time goes on. And I am making a sandwich in the kitchen with my then girlfriend. She had spent the night. Or it was like brunch.
You let girls spend the night before me?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm bad. Bad cowboy. Anyhow, I'm making sandwiches for everybody. And where the counter was, it was under, like, the counter's here, staircase went up beside here, and then up this way to the loft. And at the very top is like a big wall, and my son had a painting that he painted hanging there. Just, it wasn't framed or anything, but it was there and it was secure. Kept hearing noises upstairs, and then we heard something, and the painting fell and almost hit me in the head because it fell straight down, which was weird in itself. And I'm thinking, okay, maybe a truck went by and it's an old house, whatever. Making sandwiches, I had a, what do you call them?
Apron? No.
Me with an apron.
Hey,
okay.
you never know.
Yeah, cowboy apron.
Well,
so,
so what do I know?
okay. So she's looking at, like, a tank top. That's it. Thank you so much, Pumpkin. You're a smart pumpkin. Okay. And I said, oh, I'm just burning in the back of my neck. And she looked at me and she didn't touch me and she goes, "You've got 2 big scratches starting." I said, "What do you mean starting?" She said, "They're forming in front of my eyes." And I'm laughing like, "Yeah, you're funny trying to freak me out." She goes, "No, seriously, they're forming." And she took a picture, and I actually do have the picture somewhere, and I will share that with you guys one day. Anyhow, it was all welted, and it was 3 scratches, and it just made no sense.
Move.
I couldn't move, unfortunately. Next thing that happened, my son, like I said, 18 years old, comes running down the stairs after supper one night. "Mommy, mommy, mommy." He didn't call me mommy then. In fact, they always call me mama. He's like, "Mommy, mommy, mommy." And he came running down freaking out. And, you know, he's dealt with paranormal stuff because I've always dealt with it.
And Barney.
And Barney, yeah. Thank you very much.
Sure.
This old cowboy's got no... Anyway. So, I'm so sorry, guys. Fibrofogging's horrible. Okay, I'm almost done. He came running downstairs. And I'm like, "What's wrong?" He's white as a ghost. And he said, "I was laying on my bed reading a book for, school." He said he had a battleship game. He said, "My battleship game went flying over my bed to the other side with pieces flying everywhere." And he said, and my phone shot out, was beside me in the bed and shot off the bed onto the floor. And he said, I could hear breathing. And he said, I looked at the end of the bed and it's like it was an impression, like somebody was sitting there. And he said, I got chills and had to leave. So I go upstairs, and sure enough, and he's not one to lie, all this was where he said it was. So I went back upstairs with the dogs and one of those phone spirit box thingies, which again could be ridiculous, I don't know, but the dogs were upstairs staring at that imprinted part of the bed because it hadn't lifted yet. And I tried, like straightening it out, and it wouldn't, and it was really cold. The dogs were like, just snarling, looking. I mean, they were foam, and these dogs were the nicest dogs ever. They never did stuff like that. We had this spirit box thing going, and it said, "Bad dogs, go away." Like, not a voice, but in the things that it would type out, which was really weird to me. So that was strange. The very next day, my son is at school, and his boyfriend was home from work that day, and we're doing the dishes. And then all of a sudden we hear clink, clank, clink, clank, and there was a cupboard above the sink. And we had the cups all hanging on little hooks, right? And they were clinking, and we opened it, and they were going back and forth really fast. And again, I just thought it was a truck, right, going by or something, old house. Then we hear the cupboards fly open above the stove, and a package of spaghetti falls right into the burner with spaghetti all around. Like it was just bizarre. It didn't make sense at all. So it kind of creeped us out, but it was middle of the day, whatever. So then his boyfriend says to me, I want to see what's behind that wall. Because he said there's a skylight and we can't see it. So we go upstairs, and he's into carpentry and stuff, so I knew he could fix it. So he cuts a hole in the wall, and there's this whole other room, and it looks like there had been a fire, and there was a rocking chair and everything. And sure enough, the skylight was in that room, and why they blocked it off completely at the time, I had no idea. So we decided again to try the spirit box. Didn't get anything. Went downstairs, we were drying dishes, and we heard bang, 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 just like that. 3 bangs upstairs. And I'm like, oh, what is it now? So we go upstairs, and my son had those plastic drawers, the plastic little drawer things.
Storage tote.
Storage,
type.
yeah. Mm-hmm. And they were stacked in the middle of the room, 3 of them, going opposite ways. Now, there's just no way, okay? I couldn't explain it. I was just like in shock. We put the drawers back, sat down on the end of the bed, put the spirit box back on, and I said, okay, whatever this is, you know, if you're so powerful or whatever, move this drawer right now. Sure enough, the plastic drawer slowly started coming out while he and I booted it downstairs. It was not good at all. So there is more to the story, but I know Pumpkin's getting hot.
I can go if you want to tell it. Or...
Are you sure? I don't want you getting sick.
No, I meant I can go.
Oh, no, it's okay. Basically, what we ended up finding out was that there was a drug dealer living in that house way back in the day. And there was a fire in that house. And him and his daughter had died in that fire.
Oh, my nerves.
Really sad, but...
Oh, my nerves.
I forgot to tell you the spirit box also gave a name because we asked who it was, and it said Martin. So
wow.
We found out the guy's name was Martin, and that he had a little girl about the same age as what I dreamt about and what my daughter had seen and said she saw. So we
so sad.
We ended up moving out, but I mean, we never, you know, it's a haunted house. Yeah, to this day. So
ooh.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm the greatest storyteller this way or if it interests you or whatever, but I just wanted to share that with you. I know Halloween's coming up. Halloween, we're probably gonna sit and eat stuff we're not supposed to and watch scary movies, I imagine. And I know
met me.
And I know a lot of channels will be having Halloween specials and stuff like that, and we're just small potatoes, so we'll let them have the limelight.
Ooh, I'm just thinking of the scary movies now. I get nightmares if I watch anything that's even remotely.
Yeah, she does. We always have to watch something really funny afterwards.
Like 2.5 Men or Modern Family or something after.
Yeah, those are really scary shows.
No, after the
I know, I'm
scary
teasing
ones.
you. I'm teasing you. Did what movie did I play that scared you? Do you remember?
Yeah, that
Oh, The Conjuring? That really scared her. It actually makes me really uncomfortable to watch that.
And now she tells me.
Well, just because I've had my own experiences. And,
great girlfriend you are. Oh, by the way, that one bothered me. Oh, hey, Sandy, you want to sit through this movie? Sure. Almost died on my popcorn.
Her popcorn went flying once, I think, too.
Oh, my goodness. And there's another one out or something that they're advertising at the movie theater, which I can't go in a movie theater anymore because even if it's for a funny show, because of that man that killed people in the movie theater, now every time it gets dark, I kind of have a little panic attack. So there's that, even if it's a funny show.
That's not good.
And then she says, here, let's watch what's it called?
The Conjuring.
Yeah, let's watch The Conjuring.
Yeah.
No.
I wanted her to watch it, you know, the remake.
No.
She won't watch that.
I know enough stories about that one not to watch it.
Anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, so I know this wasn't totally scary, because we laugh a lot enough. That's who we are. But yeah, so, you know, if you guys want to share stories in the comments, if you want to let me know if you want to hear about any more of my stories, regardless of Halloween sometime, let me know. I have tons of them. Yeah, so I hope you guys enjoy Halloween. Eat lots of candy.
Yeah.
Or not. No, it's not really good for you. You gotta enjoy it sometimes.
yeah.
I mean, what is this?
Skittles. Because I had to do a TikTok.
But where's the big part?
What
These
big
are
part?
just the little ones. I want the
candy
big.
corn. Ugh.
Oh
Okay,
my
on
god, I
that
love
note.
these things.
Candy corn is disgusting. But anyway, okay, love you guys. We will see you soon. And when we do see you, Sandy will try and, you know, engaged.
No,
Yeah.
the thing is I'm usually really quiet. She's the yapper, and I like it that way. But next time, I think we're gonna be talking about what's gone on in our lives this last year, right?
Yeah,
It's
grab
been
some coffee and tea.
It's been a crazy year for
maybe
us.
a little even alcohol if you need it.
Yeah, we might even have some.
Yeah, we might need it.
But yeah, we've had a lot happen this year to us. It's been a really rough year. So yeah, we'll be getting that out as soon as we can. And in the meantime, woo!
Have a good night, all.